The heart is broken again on the same old stone. Once again, it's the same type of man, just with a different name. And the scariest question you ask yourself in the silence, maybe I'm attracting this myself? Maybe I don't deserve anything else? Listen to me. In the next 18 minutes, you won't just understand why this is happening. You will receive the key that will help you get out of this locked room where the same nightmare keeps repeating. And it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's about the memory that lives in your blood, in the love story of your mother and your grandmother. And I, as a male psychologist, will show you this hidden card of fate. Today, we're talking about family patterns. This isn't esotericism, it's deep psychology. These are invisible rails along which the train of your personal life rushes again and again, always arriving at the same station of disappointment. Why now? Because I know you're deathly tired of this pain. You're ready. You've matured for real, healthy relationships. And I ask you to watch until the end, because at the end, we'll do the 3 generations map exercise together. It will be painful, but healing, like setting a dislocated joint. You'll see everything with your own eyes. What is a family pattern? Imagine that in your childhood, you were given an instruction manual for love. You never read it, but it soaked into you. And in this manual, it says how to love, to suffer, and to choose a man the right way. This manual was written by your mother, and hers by her mother. They didn't do it out of malice. They were simply passing on the survival strategy that had worked for them. And here is the first, most heartbreaking scenario. Scenario number 1. I will save him with my love. You attract men like a magnet, men who need to be saved from alcohol, from debt, from depression, from themselves. Inside you burns the belief that it is your great love that will get him back on his feet. You become his mother, his sister, his psychologist, his sponsor, anyone but his beloved woman. And then you're left with a scorched heart when, after being saved, he leaves for someone else or doesn't change at all. Where did this come from? Look around. Maybe your grandmother spent her whole life carrying your grandfather, who drank but had golden hands. And your mother lived with a father who never found himself. And she believed that you just had to endure. He was a good man. You inherited the program. Love is when you give everything and ask for nothing in return. Recognize it? I know, it hits right in the heart. But this is just the beginning. Now we'll talk about the scenario that makes smart, beautiful, vibrant women literally dissolve in relationships, losing themselves to the very last drop. Scenario number 2. The invisible girl. You choose men around whom you don't exist. Emotionally cold, married, workaholics, narcissists. You tiptoe around so as not to disturb his peace. You anticipate his wishes, forgetting your own. Your whole life revolves around him, and you yourself become a blurry spot in the background of his grand persona. And you wait for him to finally notice you. I will never forget Marina. 40 years old, a successful lawyer, an incredible, beautiful woman. But in relationships, it's a disaster. She came to me after breaking up with a man for whom she had been a convenient landing strip for 3 years. She told her story, and I could picture it clearly. She cooks his favorite dinner, lights candles, and waits. And at 9 in the evening, she gets a curt text, "Running late, don't wait." And she silently puts everything away and cries. And at that moment, she suddenly remembered. She was 10 years old. Her mother was setting the table, waiting for her father, and he would come home drunk after midnight and yell about why dinner was cold. And her mother, her strong mother, would silently reheat everything, lips pressed tightly together. And in that moment, she realized she hadn't been living her own life. She had been finishing her mother's story. She was just as accommodating, silent, and invisible. Do you know that icy feeling, being invisible to the person closest to you? If you do, write the word familiar in the comments. Give yourself permission to acknowledge this pain. Becoming aware of it is like ripping off an old bandage from a wound. But the next scenario is even more insidious. It literally saturates a woman's DNA with the belief that love and suffering are synonymous. Don't switch away. The most important part is ahead, our map. Watch till the end. You owe it to yourself to do this. Scenario number 3. Addiction to drama. You're drawn to relationships that feel like a volcano. Today it's wild passion, flowers, vows. Tomorrow, icy silence, jealousy, accusations. You get bored with calm, reliable men. Your soul craves these ups and downs, because only at the peak of pain do you feel alive. You confuse passion with suffering. I had a client, Svetlana, 32 years old. She was dating a man who took her on an emotional roller coaster. He could disappear for a week, then show up with a huge bouquet and beg for forgiveness. He could humiliate her in front of everyone, then write her love poems at night. She was exhausted, but she couldn't leave. We started to unpack her story, and she remembered her grandmother's tales about her grandfather. Oh, he was a difficult man. He could hurt with words or slam his fist on the table. But oh, how he loved, passionately. And her mother would tell her, "That's always how it is with men, daughter. Today you cry, tomorrow he carries you in his arms." Since childhood, Svetlana learned, love always means drama. Calm, so he doesn't love. We've looked at 3 of the most powerful scenarios. There remains the last one, the quietest and most insidious, who keeps millions of women in unhappy relationships. And right after that, what could be a turning point in your life is our map. Watch it to the end. You owe it to yourself to do this. Scenario 4, just not alone. It's the horror that overwhelms you on Sunday evening. A primal fear of being alone. Because of this fear, you're ready to jump into the arms of the first person you meet. You turn a blind eye to his flaws, to the disrespect, to the lies. Your standards drop below rock bottom. Anyone, even the most unsuitable man, seems better than the silence of an empty apartment. Olga, 45 years old, twice divorced. A smart woman, a wonderful person. But as soon as she was left alone, she would start having panic attacks. She would download dating apps and go on dates with people she didn't even like. She would get back together with her ex, who had betrayed her. "I can't be alone, Alexander. I physically can't," she would say. Her mother, who had been abandoned by Olga's father, repeated the same phrase all her life. "A woman alone is incomplete. Who would ever want you?" And that terrified voice of her mother in Olga's head was louder than her own sense of self-worth. Which of these scenarios resonated with you the most? Write the number in the comments, 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's important to see this. The exercise, the 3-generation map. And now to the main part. I promise, this will be a revelation. Take a sheet of paper. Don't be afraid of what you will see. This is not a sentence. This is a map that will show you where your treasure is buried, your freedom. Step 1. Draw a circle at the top. Write grandmother and answer with your soul, not your head. What was her man like? What image comes to mind? A tyrant? A kind man? A shadow? A hero? Was she happy? What did your child's heart feel next to her? Her signature phrase about men and family, "All men are. The main thing in a family is, you'll get used to it and grow to love it." Step 2. Below, draw a circle for mother. The same questions. What image do you have of your father? What did you feel next to him? Did she repeat her mother's fate? Or did she, out of protest, choose the complete opposite, but still ended up unhappy? What did she tell you about love when you were a teenager? Step 3. And below, your own circle labeled me. Write down the names of the men who left the deepest scars. What do they all have in common? What is the common thread? What were you like when you were with them? Who did you become? What was your main thought after each breakup? Now put down your pen and just look at this sheet, at these 3 destinies, at this ancestral river. Do you see this pattern that keeps repeating? This program? Today, for the first time, you looked it in the face. You brought it into the light, and this is the beginning of your liberation. You are not obligated to play out someone else's script to the end. You are not required to carry this burden for your mother and grandmother. You can thank them for their experience and say, "Thank you, but from here on, I will go my own way." You can step out from behind the scenes onto your own stage and write your own script for a happy love story. What did you feel when you saw your map? What discovery amazed you? Share in the comments. This will be your first and bravest step toward your true self. If you look at this map and realize you can't handle it alone, that the pain is too strong, know that I am here for you. Come for a consultation. Together, we will gently untangle this knot. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. Thank you for being with me all this time. Remember, you came into this world for happiness, period.